Okay, so today we're going to be looking at a classic titration question in A-level chemistry. So the first thing to note here is the equation, which shows a neutralization reaction, because you have a base, the sodium carbonate, reacting with an acid, the HCl. First, let's take a look at the information that we've been given so far. We know the concentration and the volume that's used of sodium carbonate. The first part of the question asks us to calculate the titer. For those of you who've never heard of the word titer, here's a definition. Titer is the volume of a solution required to completely react with a known volume of another solution via a titration. With that in mind, we can now work out the values. Pause the video now if you would like to have a go at this question. To work out the titer, we simply take the initial reading away from the final reading. So we get 24.20, 23.85, and 24.30. In the next part of the question, we have to work out the mean titer. The mean titer is not just an average of the three results, it's an average of the concordant results. In A-level chemistry, what this means is that the results we use to find our mean titer must be within 0.10 centimeters cubed of each other. Pause the video now to identify the concordant titer values which we use to calculate our mean titer. The values that we use are 24.20 and 24.30, and we take an average of these values to find the mean titer. And the answer comes out as 24.25 centimeters cubed. The final part of the question asks us to calculate the concentration of the HCl. So far, we've worked out the mean titer, which represents the amount of acid which was used in the reaction. As with all calculation questions, I like to start by writing down all the information that I do have, to ensure that I don't miss anything. So we know the concentration of sodium carbonate is 0.150 moles over decimeters cubed. We also know that the volume of sodium carbonate used was 25 centimeters cubed. Finally, we know that the volume of the HCl that was used was 24.25 centimeters cubed. The next thing to notice is to see that the units that we are meant to give our answer in is moles over decimeters cubed, but the volume values we have are in centimeters cubed. Therefore, we need to convert them. 1 decimeters cubed equals 1000 centimeters cubed. This means that we simply have to divide 25 by 1000 and 24.25 by 1000 to work out our values in decimeters cubed. Let's take a quick look at the formula which we will be using for this question. We already know the volume of HCl, and in order to find the concentration, we also need to know the moles of HCl. Since we can't immediately calculate the moles of HCl, we can first calculate the moles of sodium carbonate because we know the concentration and volume. Using the equation moles equals concentration times volume, we can simply put in the values and we get an answer of 3.75 times 10 to the minus 3. Now we need to look at the equation we were given at the start. As you can see, for every 1 mole of sodium carbonate that was used, 2 moles of HCl were needed to react with it. In other words, HCl needs twice as many moles as sodium carbonate in order to complete the reaction. Therefore, to find the moles of HCl, we need to multiply 3.75 times 10 to the minus 3 by 2. And we get 7.5 times 10 to the minus 3. Now that we know the moles and volume of HCl, we can finally calculate the concentration. Concentration equals moles over volume, so we put the values in and we get our answer. That brings us to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. See you soon.